This is the first of several videos that I have planned on side-scrolling elements in GameLab, and in this one I'm going to be dealing with gravity, jumping, and how to make a ground to catch you at the bottom. So my starter code, I just have one character that moves left and right. I have another video on that, so I'm not going to go into the detail. Feel free to pause it here and go over the code if you don't understand something. Now the next thing I need to do is I want to give this gravity so that he falls. This will remind me of Super Mario Bros. 2, the classic first scene where he falls down and down and down forever. And to do that, all you got to do is give him a velocity Y. And I'm going to give him a velocity Y of 5. So now he falls. So then the next thing you need to do is make something for him to land on. I'm going to make a new sprite up here above the draw loop. And I'm just going to call it ground. And now I need to choose some ground. Here's my left and right kid. And now for ground, I mean, there are some elements in here you could use, but I'm just going to draw my own. So the first thing I want to do is set it to the size that I want. I want it to be pretty short, like maybe 50 pixels. And its width I want to be the entire length of the screen. Actually, let's do half the length of the screen, so 200. So we'll resize it. And now I want to paint all of that the same color. And let's do like a blue. Oh, I need to rename that ground because I already typed the name of the picture right here. I just wanted those to match. Okay, so I have a ground. Now I need to put it in the right spot. So when you're dealing with sprites, the X and Y value is the center of your sprite. So if I want my center to be roughly right here, I'm going to put that at 80, 360. I would just put my mouse where I want it to be and then read the numbers that are down here below the reset button. And that gets me pretty close. I might scoot it over just a little bit. Okay, so now I need to code some interaction between the two. So I'm going to use this collide block right here and say player collide ground. And so now I have a platform I can stand on. And I could scoot that over, I could do whatever I wanted to with it. If you want to make it, let's put it closer to the center. So that works just fine. I am noticing like there's just this little bit of white space under his feet. That doesn't really bother me, but if it did, it's this blank line below. So I guess you could try to crop each of these sprites just a little bit. This is the crop button. It'll take all that extra space away. So now that looks a little bit better. And I mean, like if I really cared a whole lot, I guess I could lean him or rotate him a little bit. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm getting too into the weeds here. Okay, so then if you wanted another platform, like a step or something for him to climb over, you could just make another one. And it can be set to the same animation, but you would want it to be in a new location. So let's make it a little bit higher up on the screen. Maybe 330. And we'll scoot it over. Maybe 300. So now I've got two platforms, right? But he's only colliding with the first one because we only have one of these. So we'll have to copy and paste that and make the player also with collide with ground 2. So now he can walk around on the top step, or he can fall down and walk around on the second step, or he can walk all the way off and disappear. Okay, so that's pretty good. We could leave it at that, but I think I'll go ahead and add a jump element real quick. So let's use, here's where we made him go right with the right key. Here's where we made him go left with the left key, so we're going to follow that same pattern and make him use the space key. And whenever space key is pressed, we're going to set his velocity y to negative, say, 40. And so what's going to happen is this is going to make him jump up, and then I think this will counteract it and he'll fall right back down. So let's just try that. Okay, let's see what spacebar does. Okay, so the problem is when I hold it in, he continues to go up. And then when I let go, he falls back down. So let's switch that by changing key down to key went down. That way it only happens once. Okay. That's good. It's better. The only thing is, if you mash that button, you can sort of air jump. And we don't want that to happen. We only want him to be able to jump when he's on the ground, right? So what we're going to do is limit his jumping ability. So we'll say if we'll get another. Actually, let's just copy this collide. If the player colliding with the ground is true, so we'll put that in the blank. Then, if he presses space, he jumps. Let's reset and try again. Oh, I've got the semicolon in there. Can't do that. There we go. Okay, so if he's colliding with ground, which he is right now, and you press space. Ooh, that's not working. Let me think for a second. Well, thinking didn't work, so instead I'm going to take this collide out and try and is touching. Now, I don't know if they're technically touching right now or not, but we're going to find out. If player is touching ground. Oh, this isn't going to work, but I did just remember what will work. Okay, so if they collide, they're technically not touching. So what we got to do is say, watch this. Player.y's position and ground.y's position. Okay, so now we can see where they are, right? So what we have to do is say if ground.y minus player.y is less than, what is that? 103. So let's just say less than 110. Then if they press space. Okay, let's try it. So all I've done is just right here subtracted their actual values. Okay, so if I'm up here and I press space, he jumps. But alright, so this part is ground, so that part's working. But this top one is ground 2, and that one's not working. And I can't button mash and jump any higher. Although I can jump. Oh, that's going to be a problem. I'll have to figure that part out later. I guess I can scoot the ground over. Alright, it works here. Doesn't work here. Okay, so you could do all this again, except change ground to ground 2, and then he would be able to jump on the second piece. Or we can add it to this if statement and just keep them all together, which is what I'm going to do. So right here, I'm going to say if ground.player.y minus if ground.y minus player.y is less than 110, and or is this thing right here, which you don't use very much. It is, you hold down shift and then press that button above the enter key 2 times. Or ground2.y minus player.y is less than, we can keep the same value. That should do it. Let's switch back to blocks so you can see it in color. Okay, so it's going to check this condition or this condition if either one of them is true. Let's try that. Jumps here just fine. Jumps here just fine. But you can't mash and jump all the way to the sky.